Island is of increasing importance just because it is the last intact island-based Gullah Geechee community in America. What Sapelo Island lacks here, in large part, is economic sovereignty, and not only acknowledging those factors, but having restorative programs to mitigate them. And that's definitely where SICARS comes in. That's their number one goal, as we said before. In our comic book, it's a time of severe drought and just climate uncertainty in general. But in particular, this is threatening the nation of Wakanda's supply of the purple heart-shaped herb, which, if you guys remember from the movies, is what allowed Wakanda to have the Black Panther strength and to go down to the ancestral plane. It did end up getting burned in the first movie, but of course we're before that. So that is a resource that they have in this comic book. And so on the other side of the globe, the Gullah Geechee, they're dealing with their own climate struggle, specifically flooding, much like they are now, but in the comic book, we're maintaining that. So, and then one night on the ancestral plane, this is where our comic begins, the apparition of a past Black Panther appears to T'Challa and tells him that the solution to Wakanda's crisis is on Sapelo Island. So he's instructed to, mix some of the vibranium dirt with some of the gopher dust that Sapelo Island holds sacred in their traditions. And then he said that he's told that the mixed dirt has to go on the Sapelo Island shoreline and in the Wakandan fields in order for the flowers to grow and to stop the flooding. But this has a caveat. The solution will only work if both groups demonstrate that they're not just doing this for opportunistic gain, and they have like a true bond. And so, long story short, the Black Panther goes there. He engages with the Sapelo. They exchange different traditional practices, and he exchanges some technological things, farming technology that they have. And along this journey, in the comic book, we join the Black Panther on his adventure as he learns more about the Gullah Geechee culture and internalizes character developing lessons about purity of heart and collaboration. And it's a six-part series that, our users are thrilled to join in on.
What we're hoping to offer is a digitally delivered comic book / teaching resource that combines rich SEL or social emotional learning curriculum that is fun, engaging, and tells us a lot about the Gullah Geechee community and their way of life. So our plan is to go ahead and start our marketing and testing in the spring to go ahead and get our name out there, start promoting, and in the summer continue that process so that we can get sales during that time period.
We believe that our comic book is unique because it is able to address modern education concerns in a fun, exciting platform that is most relatable to students.
Have you encountered any information about what kind of SEL curriculum is preferred? Is this kind of SEL curriculum popular? Is it normal, or is this kind of typical?
Most SELs are more like teaching based because SELs are not only supposed to promote like interactive interpersonal skills, but it's also mixed in with educational curriculum.
I drove you all to kind of to go with the first price as opposed to the second.
Variable pricing might be something that would go against that philosophy. So then we were like, okay, if we're doing fixed pricing, how can we, what's a price that's like fair? And so industry standard SELs range anywhere between 300 to around 2,000 for like more or 2,000 and upward for programs that are just not like teaching in a book, like programs that are like a particularly like made for SEL. In the first place. And so we thought a mid-range price would be better on that.
Sapelo Island faces 3 different economic disparities. So number 1 of those is limited access. There's no road access to Sapelo Island. Everything from goods to emergency services to potential sources of business have to get there by boat or ferry. An ancient spirit that is taking over the mind of the different leaders of the tribes of Wakanda. And essentially, there's no answer to it. And nobody's encountered anything like this before. And so what he has to do is he goes into the Wakandan archives and uncovers a caste of mystics, which were a part of Wakanda quite a long time ago that nobody really has connection to. And he actually has to go to the US and actually interact with a bit of a hybrid culture where you have Wakandan elements with Gullah elements, which are a mixture of African elements and European elements as well. So you have a very interesting for lack of a better word, a coming to America.
Our main marketing strategy is definitely the drop model. We will release limited comic books during specific times of the year, which will create scarcity and in turn increase demand for the product.
One of the core proponents to our proposal is considering how we can secure the maximum project success and how we can ensure value that is not just monetary, but fulfilling to our social mission. The first one we have is the Hammer Social Impact. And so the idea here is that social good is a central mission of both organizations, and emphasizing such would make our proposal more impactful to our audience.
How does your pricing for the digital copy compare to what Marvel has now?
Well, the interesting thing is Marvel doesn't have much in the way of like digital editions yet. If you're asking for like the market price for a comic book, nowadays it's roughly about $5 to $10. Obviously, like the retro, like physical ones, there's less of those, so those can go into the hundreds of dollars, sometimes even more.
Great job, everyone, and thank you so much for this presentation. That was awesome.